Another day, another thought. Welcome all to another edition of the Double Thought Show. Hope you guys are doing well, man. As you guys know, I'm RJ here with my co-host KR. KR, what's up?
What's up? What's up, everyone?
Thanks for everyone who's watching this pre-recorded live show, as well as those watching the rebroadcast. As I said, this is a pre-recorded live show. That means that the video is pre-recorded, but we are live in the chat. So please feel free to holla at us, engage with us, and let's have a good and healthy conversation. Uh, we just, you know, we we do this because the live aspect is very important to us. Just engage with our viewers, our supporters. We really appreciate your opinions. So feel free to share your opinions and thoughts with us as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I mean, guys, we'll be in the chat. So make sure you press something to see. If you want to test it out right now. Like this show is about the AI. We don't have an AI yet. We're trying to get our money up to get one. But but we'll be in the chat, guys, to discuss this topic. It's very interesting topic, as you can see the name and in the thumbnail. It's about AI we're gonna talk about. But before we continue, guys, please remember to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, like this show, like the rebroadcast. If you're rewatching the rebroadcast, it helps us definitely with the algorithm and the recommendations. I mean, there's a lot of people that might think this topic is very interesting, but they don't know nothing about it. And here we are sitting here talking about it, trying to find answers, maybe ask more questions relating to law and business, and that they could also answer. So that's maybe, or maybe there's a lot of angles from with these subjects, and that's why it's always important to have it spread as much as possible. Guys, remember to subscribe. That's very important. We're trying to get our subscriber numbers up. Um, it's okay right now, but it always can be better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It always can be better. So help us. We'll really appreciate it if you press the subscribe button. And of course, as I always say, share the video with your friends, family, and distract your enemies with him. I don't even use the word anymore. You know what I mean.
Yeah. And the
It all
gesture.
falls under
It's
what
about
Arj is gonna say next because
exactly.
he's the law person of us too.
Exactly.
Tell them,
So
RJ.
what follows now is our usual disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this video, and at least, did you want to say something?
No, no,
Oh,
no, no, no. Listen
okay.
up, guys. Listen up, guys.
The views and opinions expressed in the videos and in the articles we show in our shows do not necessarily reflect the thoughts and opinions of Double Thought Show, KR, nor myself. All topics and gestures, like KR just did, are for entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. And remember, guys, all commentary is alleged. We don't know anything. For the purpose of this show, we are no type of advisors or coach. We are no financial advisor, a life advisor, legal advisor, or any kind of advisor. The purpose of the show is purely to provide entertainment, to share our thoughts and opinions with you, and of course, to hear what you have to say on the topics we discuss. If you require advice and or assistance in particular areas of your life, we highly urge you to seek out assistance from the respective professionals in the fields in which you require assistance.
Yes. Important, important. If you want to sue people, sue other people. Sue the ones who's talking. Don't sue us. We're broke. Over here, we're broke.
We don't know anything. We don't
You
own
know what I mean? I'm here in my mama's basement
anything.
making a show. Lovely, and now guys trying to sue me. No, I'm just kidding, guys. So let's continue. I think we've said enough about the this. Why did I why did I make
I
the
don't know,
mom basement
but
joke?
I'm happy you did, man.
Now everyone is gonna say KR is in his mama's basement.
Yeah.
Mama, please.
Mama, love you.
I'm trying to I'm trying to record.
Yo,
Guys, I think it's time. It's time to say Hora do show, Bora. In today's show, we're going to be focusing on AI, robotics, AI and robotics. How will it change? What will be the implications on the business side, on law side, on the human side, cultural side? We are on the verge of maybe a new, I'm going to say new industrial because that was the industrial revolution, but it's maybe a new type of revolution. I don't know how they're going to call this in 100 years, but or in 50 years or in 20 years, but we are really on the verge of the next step in a revolution,
yeah,
evolution even
yeah,
probably of humans. Well, it's probably evolution and revolution because we're going to discuss a different developments that are taking place right now,
yeah.
both on the robotic side with um, guys like Boston Dynamics, on the brain side, which is might be part of the evolution. Neuralink, Jesus, Neuralink,
Neuro or Neura?
Neuralink.
Neuralink, Neuralink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Neuralink is linked to Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, yeah.
Elon Musk, and of course, one of the most talked about systems the past couple of months. OpenAI,
OpenAI, yeah.
OpenAI, the creator of Chat GPT.
ChatGPT, as
Yes,
someone
yes,
calls it.
it has been, people have been talking about it all along, and we also ourselves made a show about it. We talked briefly about what kind of implications it would have on the future.
Yeah.
Um,
And uh, what I want to say, KR, if I may, um, what we'll see in this show is not only, let's say, what's going on, as KR said, but as well what the implications are, as he said. Uh, Try to anticipate. We will see in the discussions, and that's pretty interesting to see. Some people have very negative things to say about the developments. Some people have very positive things to say about the developments. At the end of the day, what does what does seem clear, KR, is that AI is the future. Whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing.
the train is coming.
Yeah,
The train is coming, guys. The
yeah.
train is coming.
And
And I
if
do agree with you on that. It's definitely the future, and you can run, you can hide, but it is coming, guys.
yeah, and the train is conducted by a robot. So
Probably not even self-sufficient,
self-sufficient.
not even a robot. It's just a program who
Just
thinks
the
by
brain.
itself.
Just the brain. Yeah.
Just a brain, yeah. That would be crazy. But if you think about it, so we had a show about this, guys. Special we have a special playlist with right now a couple of videos about this, where we basically talked about ChatGPT answers the questions whether AI will replace humans. Well, maybe we can discuss that as well today, based on the videos we will look at. Um, we also have videos about Joe Rogan and Brett Weinstein talking about it ending regular jobs, and also will it replace humans in general. It's a very interesting topic, RJ, because if
Definitely.
you think about it, ChatGPT, OpenAI, they have been um, significantly getting more and more eyeballs the last few couple of months, and that has resulted in a major endorsement. Well, more than endorsement, it's actually investment from one of the big ones. Would you guess? Have you heard that story about them?
Yeah, I think you're talking about um, was it Microsoft?
Microsoft, yeah,
Microsoft that invested
Microsoft,
a good amount of money, if
a
I
good
recall,
amount. They invested 10 billion,
10 billion. Yeah,
and they
that's
just
crazy.
let a lot of people go. So they already anticipating that they might not need. They're trying to get ahead of the curve if they
Yeah,
can apply it within their own company.
yeah, and I think they call ChatGPT. I forgot what the exact name was, but the Google deleter or something, right?
Hmm.
So, and Microsoft is a uh, is a I want to say opponent, but opponent is not the word.
Competitor.
Microsoft is perhaps one of the biggest competitor of Google, at least in the technology. So it would make sense for them to think, huh, they call if they call ChatGPT, if ChatGPT is the Google deleter and I want to delete Google, it makes sense that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I'm gonna purchase it or at least invest in it to try to delete Google as fast as possible, which was a I don't know what exact deal was, but it's a very smart and strategic move.
I mean, they would had to move, RJ. They had to make a move on this because Google is also working on their own AI chatbot. They have, they
I
have.
agree.
I mean, I don't know if you remember Blake Lemoine that came out last year, 7 months old. Last year, he came out and basically said that the AI chatbot has become sentient.
Are you serious?
Yeah, look at this.
Google engineer put on leave after seeing AI chatbots become. You know, I read about this. I read about the the machines and or the softwares, the programs, whatever you want to call them, talking to each other. So basically communicating with one another. That's crazy, man.
This is where we at, people, and we people know about ChatGPT because it's an open platform. Google hasn't shown us what they have under the hood.
Yeah. Uh,
They might have a beast.
What I think might be a possibility is that Google is already utilizing their AI, but within, so internally. So
Yeah.
they're using AI to, of course, monitor, to collect data, to maybe do this type of thing. So
Yeah.
um, I think it's already so maybe they have an equivalent of ChatGPT. That might be a possibility, but I do think that they are already utilizing.
Guys, let us know if you know more about this topic. I mean, this is very interesting.
Definitely.
Uh, I mean, if you think about it, the it's going to be a battle. It also tells you a thing or two about where Microsoft is.
Yeah.
they might not have, they might not be as far developed with their own system, with their own AI, which leaves them not only to no other choice but to invest in open AI to have kind of a reach to be able to take over when they want to. But 10 billion is a lot of money. So guys, the 10 billion is just a part of the investments. If you look at, so I'm going to Crunch Base, which is a website where you can find all information about startups and their investment rounds and who are investors, who are the investors, etc., etc. You can see here that there is they are right now in their sixth round of investment, and they have raised, as it says here, they have raised 11 billion over the six rounds they've had so far. 11 billion.
And if they have raised 11 billion, does that mean that Microsoft accounts for 10 billion and all other investor for the remaining 1 billion?
Let's see how it breaks down, how they broke it down.
Or is it 10 billion without? That's what I want to know.
So in the first round they got 100 million from the open AI startup fund. And then they had, yeah, Microsoft is the lead investor, but I think they're let me see, Bedrock is also in there, Sequoia as usual, Andreessen and Horowitz. These are the big names, guys. Andreessen and Horowitz, Sequoia, these are the big ventures. So you already know that if they are putting money in this, this is gonna be probably big. Chances are quite big. I think to answer your question, if I look at this, I don't have all information I see here. Now I have to log in. Oh, go back. So I think I cannot show all data, but it's a total of 11. So I think probably um they raised 1 billion in the previous five rounds, and in this latest round they got 10. So it's a lot, guys.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of money that they're putting in. They are
And
banking on this system definitely being the future. I think this is called in startup terms a unicorn. They are a unicorn by now,
okay.
$1 billion company.
What I want to add to that is that so ChatGPT has existed for a while now, but the it's actually been made, or at least it became popular in the last couple of months.
Yeah,
But what's interesting to see that it not only became popular on itself because people started testing it out, playing with the program, but when they saw the power, people started to think, what else can we do with ChatGPT or with AI? What other types of AI programs exist at this particular time? So you see now a lot of videos on YouTube, on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts about the various tools you can use for your business, for a channel to provide content, from ChatGPT to programs where you just enter certain words or terms and you
yeah,
get a illustration, to people to not only text to speech software, so softwares where you add text, uh, and so softwares where you need where you can add text and the program will transform it to speech. So not only that, but you also have people, or at least projections of people speaking the words of the text to speech program. So this is people are, it's fair to say, as you said, KR, we had the industrial revolution. I think recently the latest revolution was perhaps the technological revolution. We're not going to talk about the social revolutions. What's coming up next is the AI revolution.
Yeah.
Hopefully, hopefully we can interpret it in only one way. I hope that's not a double entendre, but the future will tell.
We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so guys, this is like RJ said, it's a development it's coming, and if you look at it, OpenAI started in 2015, so it's a, some call it an overnight success, but it's never an overnight success.
No.
They have been building up towards this success they are having now, or at least the notoriety, the fame the system has built. They have a couple of products that they have created. They have the DAL-E, DAL-E platform, which is an image, creating images from text. Let me share my screen with you guys. These are the milestones they have. OpenAI conducts fundamental long-term research towards creating a safe AGI. They have the DAL-E, creating images from text. They have the multimodal neurons and artificial network. Clip, connecting text and images. Image GPT. You have Jukebox. You have the solving Rubik's Cube with a robot hand. So they have had a number of milestones throughout the years. Emerged tool from the multi-agent interaction, MuseNet, better language models and their implications. So they have been scaling how AI training scales. They have been working towards all these things, and there are a couple of videos online which we can view how it all has been developing. This is a video from about, let's see, 6 years, 6 years ago. And yeah, let's see what robots that learn actually mean.
Infants are born with the ability to imitate what other people do. Here, a 10-minute-old newborn sees another person stick their tongue out for the first time. In response, he sticks his own tongue out. Imitation allows humans to learn new behaviors rapidly. We would like our robots to be able to learn this way too. We've built a proof of concept system trained entirely in simulation. We teach the robot a new task by demonstrating how to assemble block towers in a particular way, which in this case is a single stack of 6 virtual blocks. Previously, the robot has seen other examples of manipulating blocks, but not this particular one. Our robot has now learned to perform the task, even though its movements have to be different from the ones in the demonstration. With a single demonstration of the task, we can replicate it in a number of different initial conditions. Teaching the robot how to build a different block arrangement requires only a single additional demonstration.
So KR, you can buy one of these robots, put it in a McDonald's, show it one time how to make a patty, how to make a Big Mac, and you're done.
Yes. One training.
One training, no
One
manual.
training. No manual. You only have to have your manual, of course, for the trainer who does the training.
Yeah,
After that,
it's
but since you're starting about fast food chain McDonald's, we can also look at what they have been, not McDonald's, or competitors within the fast food chain sector, what they have been developing. I don't know if you want to switch to that first.
yeah. We can switch to that, and then you have it already.
I have it. I have it.
It was a
Locked and
rhetorical.
loaded.
It was a rhetorical question.
I have it
I-
locked and
I
loaded.
know-
I have
I
it locked
know-
and loaded.
I know how much I like to say, I have it, man. I have it. So I'm giving you the opportunity.
Give me a few seconds. Let me put everything correctly. Move it all
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So White Castle, early January 2023, they announced that they will use robots to flip burgers, work fry station in 100 stores across the US to give burnt out staff an extra hand. Burned out staff as restaurant industry struggles to recruit workers. 100 stores. It's the revolution. It's Flippy 2. Flippy 2. And what is Flippy? This is Flippy 1. Flippy 1 is a meso robotics. Let's see what they can do. And this is an example. Flippy 2. Getting the potato, the fries ready. It calculates how many minutes, picks it up, gets it out, even shakes it, I think, a bit.
Yeah.
Let the oil drop. Yo,
Bye jobs.
bye.
Bye
No.
jobs.
And this is the future, guys. This is
KR,
the future. They have even another example of the. Let me show you this one. All the human steps shaking the basket. So this is not even AI. These are programmed robots. So this is, you gotta program it to do everything. It's not a self-learning one. But imagine not having to program it. You just get it delivered, and you train it one time.
What I wanted to say is,
Tell me.
because I said in the example I gave about the burger that you have to train it one time. So you purchase it, train it one time. And you said yes, but you do need a manual for the person that's training it, right? But I
Mhm.
would say that is true. However, that training needs to be done once, and that can even be done in the fabric, in the factory,
Factory. Yeah.
in the factory. So you do all the training in the factory once, send this robot all over the world, and you're done.
Mhm.
You might even be able to
That is true. One
update it
time, yeah. You don't have to do it multiple times.
in every location. You might even,
Yeah, it's out of the it's working out of the box. You're
yeah,
right.
and you can even update it. Like our phones get updated. You can even update it if necessary. If you decide to add more salt or less salt, or let it, maybe you change the fries you use, right? You use a different fries, that a different brand of fries that require, for example, 6 minute, that would need to stay 6 minutes in instead of five. I'm just giving an example, and you can just make that change once. You don't need to worry about translations, different
Mhm.
language barriers in America, in apologies, in English, Spanish, German, Chinese, Korean. Is just one language. The AI speaks one language, and you're done. That's
So I just showed you guys that for the miso, that was, I showed you guys the fries, but it also can flip burgers. Here's a example. Here's the cooking burger one.
that guy was laughing, happy because he needs to, or else he'll get fired.
Well, he's laughing because he's an actor. He doesn't have to worry about his job.
He's not burning out.
He's not burning out, and he isn't losing a job.
That's true. He's getting a job by
He's getting
illustrating.
a job, but more and more of these. But as you can see, guys, just to bring it back to what we were talking about, flipping burgers, the aspect of this, how it works within how that part of the sector will be influenced by robotics. It's already being influenced by robotics. Just imagine right now, White Castle is trying to be one of the first to deploy this. Of course, they are taking a chance, but rest to be sure that companies like McDonald's will follow real soon. They will follow real soon. If they are seeing how it works, they probably have been testing it also for years already internally. If White Castle is rolling it out right now, you already know. You already know when
Mickey D's and
make-
Burger King.
well, to be honest, I personally, I think if you look at all the branches McDonald's seems to be always be the one with the right processes.
Yeah.
So they probably already have it ready to deploy.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
talking about full systems, not this is like
one part of a system. It's one aspect.
yeah. If I would have to guess, I haven't really looked up what McDonald's is trying to do in this with this in this with this developments, but they probably would have systems ready because they are really probably one of the best fast food chains with systems processes. I mean, the process, if you think about it, I don't know if you guys have watched the movie about the inception of um of um the early beginnings of McDonald's. They had a system in place. That's why they were better than everyone. They had a process and they could deliver the fast foods much faster than everyone else. That's how they grew. In addition to also having a very different business model.
Yeah.
But yeah, to bring it back to what you were talking about, RJ, the developments, learning of the robot itself.
Here's how our system works.
One-time learning, guys.
Here's how our system works. The robot perceives the environment with its camera and manipulates the blocks with its arm. At its core, there are two neural networks working together. The camera image is first processed by the vision network. Then, based on the recorded demonstration, the imitation network figures out what action to take next. Our vision network is a deep neural net that takes a camera image and determines the position of the blocks relative to the robot. To train the network, we use only simulated data using domain randomization to learn a robust vision model. We generate thousands of different object locations, light settings, and surface textures, and show these examples to the network. After training, the network can find the blocks in the physical world, even though it's never seen images from a real camera before.
Wow.
Now that we know the location of the blocks, the imitation network is bigger. Its goal is to mimic the tasks shown by the demonstrator. This neural net is trained to predict what action the demonstrator would have taken in the same situation. On its own, it has learned
Can anticipate.
It can predict what a person would do, and it does the same.
Maybe, just maybe, AI can be used to finally solve the riddle, the most complex riddle of the world. Women.
It depends. It depends because hey, one thing you gotta take into consideration because the AI works based on a presets of data. It learns, of course, by action. But let's say a chat GPT learns by reading a lot of data. It depends on what data you put in. That's one thing we you will have to also take into consideration regarding this AI stuff because what data is being fed to what AI? If you're
Yep.
if the AI is teaching your kids how to do certain things, how do you know it's teaching them to expand while they keep the blinds on? Those are the things the things that we will have to deal with in the future. Those types of questions. Even right now, with people using Chat GPT to develop full essays, is that fraud?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. allegedly. So, well, I don't know if fraud is the right word. Um, you have
Plagiarism.
plagiarism. Yeah, I think that the so intelle- intellectual property rights strive to protect the expression of ideas, not the idea itself. So you might have an idea. It can be either something, an invention, which would fall under a patent. You might have a story or an essay, which falls under copyright, or you might have a logo, for example, that falls under trademark. But with regards to ChatGPT, we'll stick to copyright. So you have an idea for a story. Let's say take away the program. Let's say you decide to write the story. If the the story might be similar, so let's say the storyline might be similar to, I call it the I call them Jesus stories, which are basically stories of a underdog that is being hunted, that needs to defy all all expectations to come on top and actually win at the end, right? And he might pass away during that journey, either literally or metaphorically. You often see it, in movies that there before the hero wins, he or she enters into a deep dip, right? So that could also be considered as a passing away of the character in a metaphorical level. There are a lot of stories like that. However, like I said, it's not the idea that counts, but the expression. So if you express it differently, if you express the same storyline in a different way, it does not necessarily uh, uh, get regarded as a copyright infringement. So you can use, so I can copy a book, for example,
Mhm.
or a story, rewrite it with the same. Maybe I'll change the time. Instead of something that happened in the past, I'll say that it happened in the future. Instead of the hero being named Jennifer, I decide to name the hero Jessica or Rebecca or whatever, and so on and so forth. So if I just change the expression of the story, then actually it's a brand new story. So let's take it back to ChatGPT. Oh, and one more thing that's important to notice, to note. The one that gets protected is the one that expressed it first, or at least registered it first. The the tricky part about ChatGPT is that it is a language program. So it works based on specific rules. I don't know if itself, so if the program itself is smart enough to de- to detect. So let's say 100 people ask the same question or ask for the same story. If it is smart enough to detect that the stories should not be the same, that it should try to avoid plagiarism on itself.
Yeah, that's a good question.
If it cannot, then you will see certain patterns, certain things being expressed in the same way. If that is the case, the consequences thereof would be that in real life, the first person that expressed it, or at least that published his writing or the story or the book, will be automatically granted the first the 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 rank of being the first one,
Uh-huh. First to the market, basically.
first to the market. Yeah. Even if he or she used ChatGPT, if you're the 57th or the 157th or 1057th, and you also use ChatGPT, they were most likely at this particular point in time with the technologies we have now, not compare it to ChatGPT. They will not. We don't have a tool to check if ChatGPT
As
actually
usual. Is that
actually
something?
that might come in the future. But without it, all we would see is that this person was first and this person came after. And so that person is guilty of plagiarism. In the future, I suspect that they might come with a tool that will cross reference with ChatGPT to
The
see
output,
whether or not the
whether
output.
something has been. Yeah, that's a good one, by the way. I think that's something that will from your viewpoint of a lawyer. I think that's probably something that will definitely come, because right now there is no way to check. So I could be writing the best essay ever, straight up ace, get a high paid job, can barely read
Yeah.
or think.
But what you can do is, KR, is you can use ChatGPT to draft the first draft for you. And you will then rewrite it. Because if you rewrite it,
That's your yeah.
that's your
It's yours in that case. So maybe there will be rules being created with regards to how you are allowed to apply Chat GPT when, let's say, you're in a university.
yeah.
Once you have that cross reference tool, what is allowed and what is not allowed.
Yeah.
How fast do you think these rules will be developed?
Not fast
Yeah,
enough.
will have to be developed.
Will and have to are two different things. The law moves very slowly. So
It is true.
so the law
I
we are
still think
still
women do work, but anyway.
we are still catching up on. We're still having trouble with internet law. We are not ready for AI laws. We still haven't solved the internet, so internet laws. We still haven't solved crypto laws. Crypto
Yeah,
has
they're
been
still
existing.
struggling with it for a long while. So
So AI
crypto has
laws,
been around for 10 years. They still haven't figured it out.
exactly. And by the time, so the law moves much more slower, much more slowly. If we were in a dictatorship, would have been any problem because the dictator would say, "Today we do this, and everyone should do it." But we live in a democracy, and we have lobbyists, and you have the tech lobbyists on the one hand, and you have the environmental lobbyists on the other hand. You have on the one hand people in suits and black shoes, and on the other hand people in shirts and green hair, and it's like you don't know.
Why discriminate the hoodie people?
The hoodie people don't vote.
What are you talking about? All tech CEOs wear hoodies. Well, not all, but
Well, they fall under the category of
founders.
tech tech CEOs fall under the category of shirt and green hair. So what
Oh,
happens
no.
is that, but I'm just saying. So a lot of lobbyists, a lot of political games
What
getting
what what
played.
if we would say that the people who are in law are slow?
Well, the people in law are slow because drafting law is definitely complicated, but it oftentimes gets stuck at the legislation level
Mm,
because the first draft can be entered, can be sent, pretty, say, fairly quickly, but
And then they start pulling.
then they start pulling because remember, oftentimes the first draft is being done not by the legislative branch, but by a private company, because someone needs to enter. There needs to be a politician that proposes the bill, right?
Mhm.
So oftentimes the bill gets, so technically the branch would need to do it, but oftentimes they seek advice or assistance with a draft from the third party, the private sector. So let's say a law firm would, that a law firm or a company that is specialized in drafting laws would draft the first bill, a draft bill, a very rough bill, would send it to the legislative bill. So there are a lot of ways that it can happen, but we will send it either to the politician or to the legislative bill, because the legislative, not the legislative bill, the legislative branch,
Mhm.
the legal, so the attorneys working for the government would need to check it to see whether the wording used is the same as the wording that we use in laws, etc., etc. So, but these are the technical parts. After the technical part, you need to go to the political part, and there is where it always gets stuck, because then you have an agenda. One person, there are people or politicians that want to push everything at once. So they might push something that they want or that their supporters want in the bill, and they will fight. So instead of saying, okay, let's adopt these 9 points and we will discuss the 10th later on, the whole bill will not enter into effect. So it's pretty, and what you get then, this is not to sound nihilistic, but what you then get is that we run the risk of entering into a, so if there is a very acute problem and we don't have the laws, the only way to solve the problem is to declare a state of emergency, so you can move without really worrying about the formal things.
So whoever gets voted in the next couple of years might be the steering the country towards
Yeah,
a certain way because
yeah,
of developments with AI.
yeah. Because for example, if you is as a politician or a political party, you represent, just to keep it simple, you represent businesses. Let's say just keep it simple. You represent business owners, and another political party represents employees. Business owners would like, of course, to implement the AI in the workplace.
Mhm.
They can work more effectively, etc., etc. The representatives of the workers, of the employees, will probably boycott it, because they know that would mean that their supporters will lose their jobs, or okay, sometimes they don't care if their reporter lose their jobs. But let's get to the real point. Their supporters, whether they lose their jobs or not, will be disappointed in them, and they will not vote for them, and so they will lose in the next election, because
Yeah,
that's how it
that's
goes.
how it works. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they might say, no, we oppose it, or they might say, well, we will accept it only under the condition that you accept our bill. What's your bill about? UBI, universal basic income, or higher wages, something to that extent.
Or what you have already proposed. or not proposed. We talked about it also in a previous show, the universal income.
Yeah, that's what I said. The universal basic income.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the UBI. Yeah, 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 yeah. And so then that becomes
Every
the
company has to. It's like a pension
tax.
fund. Well, you have to put a certain amount, a percentage of your revenue or your they're probably not gonna do profit. Probably revenue has to go to a certain fund that will basically contribute to the UBI, something like that, probably.
Yeah.
Guys, vote us in if you want. I'm just kidding. Let's see. Anything else you want to discuss relating to this?
No, we can move on.
Okay, so basically, what you have is also developments on the brain level, or at least the brain tech level. Neuralink, also basically known because of its link with Elon Musk. They have been working on a lot of stuff. For example, a bit, let's say, about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, they released a video of their monkey mind pong. Let's see what it's about to understand the developments.
This is Pager. He's a 9-year-old macaque who had a Neuralink placed in each side of his brain about 6 weeks ago. If you look carefully, you can see that the fur on his head hasn't quite fully grown back yet. He's learned to interact with a computer for a tasty banana smoothie delivered through a straw. We can interact with the Neuralinks simply by pairing them to an iPhone, just as you might pair your phone to a Bluetooth speaker. The links record from more than 2,000 electrodes implanted in the regions of Pager's motor cortex that coordinate hand and arm movements. Neurons in this region modulate their activity with intended hand movement. For example, some might become more active when he moves his hand up, and others when he moves it to the right. By recording from many neurons and feeding their activity into a decoder algorithm, we are able to predict Pager's intended hand movements in real time. First, we calibrate the decoder by recording neural activity as Pager uses the joystick to move a cursor to targets presented on the screen. As he's playing this game, we are wirelessly streaming, in real time, the firing rates from thousands of neurons to a computer. Using these data, we calibrate the decoder by mathematically modeling the relationship between patterns of neural activity and the different joystick movements they produce. After only a few minutes of calibration, we can use the output from the decoder to move the cursor instead of the joystick. Pager still moves the joystick out of habit, but as you can see, it's unplugged. He's controlling the cursor entirely with decoded neural activity. Our goal is to enable a person with paralysis to use a computer or phone with their brain activity alone. Because they wouldn't be able to move a joystick, they would calibrate the decoder by imagining hand movements to targets. One of the things the Neuralinks allow Pager to do is to play his favorite video game, Pong. To control his paddle on the right side of the screen, Pager simply thinks about moving his hand up or down. We've removed the joystick altogether. Now that he's up to speed, let's increase the difficulty and see how well Pager can play with
Wow, dude!
As you can see, Pager is amazingly good at Mind Pong. He's focused, and he's playing entirely of his own volition. It's not magic. The reason Neuralink works is because it's recording and decoding electrical signals from the brain. Great game, Pager. And what better reward for a monkey than a banana?
That's crazy, man.
It's astounding if you think about it.
Yeah.
Which means that if you, this is just one aspect. If you think about it, this could be the beginning of RoboCop.
Yeah.
Let's say you lost your legs. They put this in your brain, put some prosthetic legs or robot legs below there.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
It's crazy, man. That is.
combined with the, because did I show the AI also
For the
solving the Rubik's cube?
no, you haven't.
I haven't shown that.
Maybe we can go to that.
Maybe I'll go to that, because combined so maybe you can also add data into that Neuralink, which could predict what people think.
Yeah.
So already ahead of time, it's not only reacting, but also setting up the balance in a way that it's already anticipating what you're going to do. In that way, the machine doesn't get broken in a sense. Let's see if I can find it real quick, because I think we missed that part. We were going that fast. Yeah, here it is. So to go back to OpenAI, they have been working, like I said, on different stuff, DAL-E, and also solving the Rubik's cube, and they have a video about this, and they've been doing this for years. RJ, this video right here is from 2019, so it's not from yesterday. They have this already. This has been probably, it's already been solved on this level. They are right now just on level maybe 4, 5, 6. Let's see what.
Is this from 2019? You said
19, yeah.
okay.
Pre-Uncle Vit.
Pre-Uncle Vit.
We're trying to build robots that learn a little bit like humans do, by trial and error. What we've done is trained an algorithm to solve the Rubik's Cube one-handed with a robotic hand, which is actually pretty hard even for a human to do. We don't tell it how the hand needs to move the cube in order to get there. The particular friction that's on the fingers, how easy it is to turn the faces on the cube, what the gravity, what the weight of the cube is, all of these things, it needs to learn by itself. The interesting thing is that kind of standard techniques in robotics haven't been able to scale to that complexity that we see in a robotic hand. Humans have evolved to be able to manipulate and operate our hands. So there's a huge amount of learning that's happened through evolution to get us to this point as a species. And the robot has to learn all of this from scratch. Instead of trying to write very dedicated algorithms to operate such a hand, we took a different approach where we create thousands of different simulated environments and learn to do the task in all of those. And hopefully a robotic hand will be able to do it in the real world as well. This means like thousands of years of experience that this neural network has had in simulation. Every time the algorithm has gotten good at the task, we make the task harder. That's really crucial because it needs exposure to really complicated environments in order to eventually be robust to the real world. You put a rubber glove on the hand and can still carry out the task. this ability to generalize to new environments feels like a very core piece of intelligence. It really changes the way we think about training general purpose robots. Moving from thinking too much about the actual algorithms and start thinking about how do we create complex enough worlds where they can learn. At some point, then it would be more down to the imagination, what robots could actually accomplish. The hope is to build robots that can do many different tasks to increase the standard of living and give everybody a better life.
So how I see it, so I always build bridges. We have seen, of course, the Neuralink, how it works.
Did you say build or burn?
Both. I build and burn. Um, um, jeez. Hey man, what are you talking about, man?
Oh, Jesus.
Yay. What you will have is you have the Neuralink. So, for example, if someone is paralyzed, you will have the Neuralink. It will send signals to, let's say, the robot arm, but it will need AI to understand what is the strength it has to. It's adjusting. Basically, it adjusts the signal you give it.
Yeah.
It's a combination. It's gonna be very. I mean, the future looks interesting, man.
Yeah. It's inevitable. The AI is inevitable. It will definitely help. It will definitely make some people happy, as you said, because at this particular point in time, when you have a prosthetic arm or leg, it doesn't always feel like a hand. But with the AI, you can get closer and closer to that feeling. Someone gets
AI and
involved.
Neuralink, both.
AI, yeah, Neuralink. Yeah. But what would Neuralink not fall under AI? That's more technology, right?
It's somewhere in between.
Yeah,
I think it's partially AI though.
yeah. But let's say, so I'm just speaking in general terms. So AI, just if we can merge AI and machines, and perhaps even more impressive, AI and human beings, that is going to be it will open up a window of possibilities. We might actually go to the next level very distant future. We might even have people hovering around because they add jetpacks to their bodies or whatever, just to have, I don't know, man,
Star Wars.
Star Wars style. So this is definitely, but
You amputate your arm just to have a, so
well,
you can add the robot arm because it's better.
well, in the documentary we saw, What is a Woman, they talked about trans-abled
Yeah.
people, which are basically people that weren't trans disabled people,
Disabled. Yeah.
which are basically, and I didn't know that this existed, but these are people who think or they identify as someone that needs to be disabled, and so they might chop their a part of
Whatever parts.
their
Well, they will inflict damage upon themselves, thus
Yeah.
to have that disability they would
Yeah.
want. Which
Yeah. So maybe in the future, if you do it, you put a prosthetic arm, link it to an AI, and you can decide, because maybe you are disabled or disabled fluid. And when you think that, hey, it's better for me to have an arm, you just click it on, use
Opens
it.
up a new. Hey, oh, sorry. My business brain opens up on this side because this also means that you can rent out robot arms.
Yeah.
You can pawn. Maybe
Yeah.
you can rent a robot arm for 6 months.
That's a possibility.
If you cannot pay it back, they come back and
What's the
make
movie
you pay
called?
back.
I didn't watch it. Repo Man. Did you watch it by any chance?
Yeah.
That's that movie was
That's
about.
the same concept. It's a similar concept where I think the guy had to repo someone and then it went south. Oh no, wait a second. They rented out to him. That's the concept of the movie. It's a he has, I think it's a heart. I think it's his heart, but he couldn't pay it anymore. And then they tried to repo his stuff from him.
Yeah.
Imagine that. You cannot pay it anymore, and then in the middle of the street they just come above that thing.
Yeah. Give me
Like
what I gave you. Yeah.
like it's James Bond. Come up for that thing. Pay it up.
The main difference is that in the case of a robotic part of your body, they can just shut it down from anywhere. They could just block the connection between your brain or the Neuralink,
Freeze you up.
freeze you up, shock you.
You they're like,
Yeah.
oh, everyone, hey, yo, they'll freeze you up. You'll be standing there for hours until they come pick it up.
Yeah.
And everyone sees that you didn't pay.
Yeah.
Up on the open.
Yeah. Mess with your language.
Now you have to send a message to your bank account so you pay.
Yeah. So it is.
So
It's
it
great.
will create a lot of I think the lawmakers should be really start focusing on this stuff because it's gonna be a wild west
Yeah.
if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, Repo Man 2010. Set in the near future where artificial organs can be bought on credit, it revolves around a man who struggles to make payments on a heart he had purchased. He must therefore go on the run before said ticker is repossessed.
There you have it.
Forrest Whitaker and Jude Law.
I didn't watch it. Jude Law, is that an actor?
Yeah, Jude Law.
Or writer?
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Jude Law, yeah.
Jude Law. Isn't he? I think Australian, right?
English.
English. Okay. Yeah, he's English actor. Yeah.
English.
Is that the new James Bond?
Okay, I know you're gonna say. I know.
Or is the new James Bond gonna be black?
I think we established that doing accents aren't our.
It's
best.
not my thing. I cannot understand accent very well, and I cannot
Imitate it.
imitate it very well. So it is what it is. It sounds funny when I do it.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds funny. That's why I do it for myself, for my own amusement.
As long as you know.
Yeah, as long as you know. I'm a very bad. I can talk like this
What's this?
as well. I don't know what kind of I don't know what kind of accent this is, but
Me neither. I guess you just have to travel the world to see it.
you see, yes, sir. I'm very bad spy. I'm very bad spy.
Very,
I cannot
very
be
bad
spy.
spy.
I don't have accent that can work with spy. But yeah, it's a that might be the future where we live that we live in.
Yeah.
So it will create new jobs. Sad to say. Now you have to repo someone's organs.
Yep.
That was a crazy movie, by the way.
They say they say that if you can think of something, then it is possible. So if you can think of something, if you can, so the whole theory is that we are built in a, so we have our limitations as human beings, right? Physically, but if we can think of something, then we can build it. And maybe it will take 1 year, 1 decade, 1 millennia, whatever, or multiple millennia, millennium or multiple millennia, but or millions of years. But eventually, we can get there
Yeah.
with the help of technologies. So
I think what I do agree with you on that, but that's also it's a practical thing, you know. Like for example, we can probably build flying cars now. Is it practical?
not practical. I think Elon Musk talk about it. He said building it underground is more practical than above ground.
Yeah. Because imagine, guys, you're driving around. You see all these idiots driving around like they just got their driver's license from the corner store. Imagine them flying around.
Crashing. Crash.
It's already tough enough to survive when you're touching the ground.
Yeah, yeah.
These idiots flying around, hitting you. I don't think that's gonna work. But I do agree with you. If you think about it, if you can imagine, you can probably also make it a reality. That's something about life, I think. Imagination is everything. Let's continue with Neuralink.
The first and most immediate need for a robot is to be able to manipulate these threads and insert them into the brain.
So the implant is kind of like this little puck of the secret sauce active electronics, and the electrodes are these tiny little flexible threads that each at the very end have multiple little electrodes that if you get those electrodes next to a neuron, they can record what that neuron is doing.
The nature of the device that we're implanting and the way that we're implanting it allows for minimal reaction of the brain tissue to our device to increase the lifetime. In order to do that, the devices are extremely fragile.
The threads that we insert that contain the electrodes are tiny, sort of on the order of 50 microns wide, 5 microns thick, 20 millimeters long. So if you take one of them and sort of toss it into the air, it'll sort of float off like a piece of hair.
And those tiny little flexible hairs are too small for a human to handle, even with tweezers, and that's where the robot comes in.
Computer vision and software, essentially high reliability software, is really important. We've gone from not really being able to track the moving brain, which is critical for humans because the human brain moves a lot, to having this OCT-based system that essentially gives us this 21 hertz real-time view of a 3D volume of the brain that we're looking at. What you're trying to do is very fine computer vision tasks and movement tasks to grab these threads. It's an extremely hard engineering problem.
I would say the next big goal for the robot would be to make it so that there's minimal neurosurgeon interface, that a neurosurgeon can walk in and talk to the patient, make them feel comfortable about the procedure, walk them through exactly what's going to happen, and then essentially click go. And the robot will be able to figure out exactly what the specific topography of the patient will be, target the areas, and take the surgery from the patient coming in and sitting down to them walking out of the door that same day.
If we make this so automated and safe and fast that
So basically what this means is that the job of the surgeon shifts from actually doing the surgery to discussing the surgery with the human who's gonna get the Neuralink implemented. I mean, this is amazing. This is pretty, if you think about it.
Anyone can get it. Even the idea of really fast keyboard and mouse for myself that I don't need to use my hands for is like super alluring.
I'm excited for the robot to help a human patient restore someone's motor function that they lost. That would be super cool. Over the last 3 years, Neuralink has felt like it has grown from a garage project into a real product.
Not only do you get to work on robots, but you also get to interact with other people who don't typically use robots.
I knew nothing about neurosurgery before coming to Neuralink. I can come in as a robotics expert and know that there are neurosurgeons here, neuroscientists here who essentially can act as my like knowledge base for neurosurgery and neuroscience. That's why I think it's the place to be.
Come work at Neuralink. Interesting. It's very interesting. The different skill set that are working together towards creating this robot that can basically do all these surgeries.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's
Maybe
Like-
with no, continue.
no, like I said before, the human responsibility shifts, or the tasks shifts from actually doing the surgery to actually discussing the surgery with the patient, and then you have the robot who will do the surgery itself, which already is happening in right now, but within this construct with the Neuralink, it's impossible for a human to implement that because of that. Those, I think they showed them those micro connectors.
Yeah.
What I would say.
Yeah, the robot can do it with more precision, less human error, but it's scary, man. I have to say.
The robot is not an alcoholic.
Well, if it becomes sentient, it might. It might. It just might, man.
Yeah, it's crazy if you think about it. The developments are really so. It's here. They have tested it on the macaques. It's working. So it's only time. It will be only. It won't be long before they apply it to humans.
Yeah.
Within these 5 to 10 years, it's definitely going to happen.
So, time will tell.
What this also means, and I keep bringing these guys up. They have been one of my favorite startups ever since I heard of them. I don't even know when was the first time I heard of him. Boston Dynamics. Probably in my 30s. Sorry, in my 20s. Early 20s. I heard of them for the first time. The developments that have been created with the robots, and it's been amazing, and they keep developing new things, and they also released a couple of new videos where they try to also, I mean, they throughout the years they've shown different videos. So from the robots jumping from rock to rock, keeping its balance after being pushed, and all these other things. And the one of their latest videos is when how the robot can be utilized in specific situations.
Forgot my tools again. Such a show off.
Awesome.
It's awesome, man. I mean, they've been creating amazing robots for years now, and or at least clips. Let's put it this way, because it's also shown that these don't work. Sometimes they have multiple takes because it doesn't go right in one take. So if you think about it, you link use the AI, put it in one of these robots. In addition to these robots being kind of perfectly balanced and all those aspects, it's inevitable. RoboCop will be near.
Yeah.
Is it a good thing? What kind of things do you have to take into account if you apply all these when it comes to law enforcement, RJ?
When it comes to law enforcement,
Yeah, so let's say we want to use these robots in law enforcement instead of actual human cops, or as a, let's say, as an assistant of a cop.
yeah. So I see these robots being utilized more in hazardous situations, right? So if there are, I can't say the word here either, but let's say if there are, yeah, okay, so I can say the word. So I can say terrorists, but I can't say what they use.
Mm.
But let's say if you have like
I don't think I
terrorists,
use that word either, but okay.
yeah, you can. So you have a terrorist situation. You will send the necessary law enforcement, the necessary unit to handle the situation. With a robot, you can do certain things without hampering, without putting people's lives in danger. If there's a fire, for example, you wouldn't need to put people's life in danger. So in that sense, you can lower the risks of human casualties. You can also lower the risk that the state would need to pay pension and those type of things for people who suffered damages because they or passed away due to doing a dangerous job. However, that also implies that the robot would have taken somebody's job in the first place. So maybe you might get the state would need to pay more in maybe support, subsidy, those type of things. So but that's more perhaps the legal side or the financial side perhaps. But with regards to the legal,
Who's responsible for what? Let's say, for example, if the if you add the one of these robots with AI, etc., into a patrol car, and you find yourself in a shootout, and maybe I shouldn't have used that word, but you find yourself in a
basketball shootout.
yeah, basketball shootout. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's a tough game.
It's a tough game.
It's a tough game. Projectiles going back and forth.
Now
And
that's not a basketball term, but okay.
yeah. Well, it depends on what kind of, if a ball can be a projectile.
It can.
If you throw it hard.
If there's a hurricane, then it's a projectile. Yeah. Yeah, continue.
But that robot basically hits the person in their leg, or for example, could one of these systems also assist? Because like I said before, it's very important to understand how it's coded.
Yeah.
Is it coded with certain biases? Does the AI have certain biases towards certain people, or is it a clean slate and does it treat everyone the same, or will you get the same problem which we already have?
Yeah.
which is kind of biases towards certain people.
Yeah. If there's a dangerous situation, it might target women and children first. But then the question that the AI would need to answer is, what is a woman? When you look at all these things, it doesn't change. So I would say it doesn't change that much. It doesn't change that much because at the end of the day, it's the same. So the robot is being utilized by a department, an instance, a company, and it's just like employees. The In the case of the employees, the companies or the organizations that it represents or the government that it represents would can be held liable. And just like any other liability issues, you have certain exemptions. For example, if you're going to do a high risk surgery, you would need to sign a waiver. They would probably do the same thing, whether the operation is being done by a robot or by a human being. So I don't see, with that
Any
regard,
big problems.
no, I don't see with regards to the liability.
The robot presses on your leg, breaks it.
Robot what?
Presses on your leg. So it steps on your leg,
Yeah,
breaks.
it's just like, so you would see whose robot it who's so you would need to ask yourself whose robot it is. Just like an animal.
It's
The animal,
contracted. So basically, then it's the government.
yeah, well, it's contract if it is a contract situation, but you also have I forgot the term. So you can have liability deriving from non-compliance with contracts, but you also have liabilities with regards to unlawful acts. Unlawful acts are, for example, you drive a car against someone else's car. You don't have a contract with a person, but you're liable. So liability doesn't always is not always um, founded on. It's not always based on non-compliance with contracts. It can also you also have non-contractual liabilities. But if you have a dog and your dog bites someone, you as the owner is liable. Would be the same with robots. So to that extent, I don't see a problem. At
So
least
that
with
that
regard to the liability, I don't see that much of a difference because the owner of the robot and or the AI, because you can also have an AI that, for example, does a calculation and it does it wrong. The owner would be held uh, liable for damages caused by the AI or the robot. I see more of a problem, so I don't see that much of a problem with regards to liability. To that extent, I think when it comes to AI and robots, I think, for example, internet law, crypto law is far more complex legally than AI and robots.
okay.
I see, I do see a problem with if you look at ChatGPT. What's the other one of OpenAI? Wally is something else.
Wally.
Dali.
Dolly. Not
Wally is the
Wally.
movie.
Shit, why did I say Wally?
Wally is the
That's
movie.
Wally. Yeah, that's the movie.
I
Yeah.
don't know. But Dali, that is basically, you can imagine that copyright issues and trademark issues will arise, right? You can imagine as well that someone might quote a book. So quote a chapter of a book, for example, run it through AI software that will transform it to speech, so the words to speech, add a deepfake person or deepfake
Face.
face, deepfake face, and let, for example, Morgan Freeman or Johnny Depp or whoever talk as if it's and you're earning money as a nobody. No one knows you, but you've used content of someone else and a face of someone else. So a lot of things can go wrong.
So
You can get, but I think a majority of the problems would have to do with intellectual property law than anything else.
And you're an IP lawyer, right?
I do patent law. Yeah. So
Okay.
you have soft IP, hard IP. Hard IP is patents because patents protect physical inventions, and soft IP, under soft IP, you have copyright and trademark,
So you know a thing or two about this.
or 3 or 4. Yeah, a little bit.
But
Yeah.
this is not a.
Well, this is not a show to give advice. It's just
Yeah.
opinion, right?
Source opinion. I'm just making sure that we're not getting opinions from some dude that dropped out of high school and then he's talking out of his
derrière.
derrière. Where?
Derrière. Yeah. So there was another legal issue that came to mind. Yeah, I remember now. Privacy law will definitely be put under a lot of pressure. Now, let's start by breaking the illusion that privacy exists. We all walk around with our telephones. We all walk around with our laptops, our tablets, our extra phone. Some people have 2 phones. Did you know that?
I got two. There was a song about it. I got two
Yeah,
phones, one for the other, one for the
exactly. So we are already leaving a, what's it called? Is it called a carbon footprint? Is what they call it? We're leaving a footprint in the internet, the way we move, etc. But for example, our phone has GPS on it, right? So
GPS, a mic,
a
a
mic,
camera.
everything.
It listens, it sees.
It sees everything. So, but we can decide, you know what? I'll leave it at home. I'll take my car and go to connect with nature. Go take a walk or whatever. But if you have
Nature boy. Ric Flair.
what?
Said nature boy, Ric Flair.
Nature, yeah. So, but what you can imagine that if you have a chip somewhere implanted, or Neuralink or whatever, Neuralink in your body, then they can follow you everywhere. Another thing, aside from, because now we're talking about human rights law, right? Aside from the privacy, maybe they can follow you. But another question that comes to mind is, what can they do to you if you do not comply with something? Because we're living in a world that's, although it's a big world physically, technological wise, we are integrating by the minute, right? So the world is becoming smaller in the sense that we all use social media, etc.
You might have a point there. That's gonna look. Sorry, I'm interrupting. Continue. After you're done, I'm gonna say something.
Yeah. So the question is, if they're following you, that's one thing. If they're collecting data. But what will they do if, for example, you fail to pay your mortgage, or you have an outstanding balance with the bank, or
With your Neuralink itself.
or Neuralink itself, whatever happens? What will happen? And people fear, and I believe it's a legitimate fear, that there might come a bill that will block everything, just turn off everything, making you basically an outcast until you pay. It sounds far-fetched, but so did making things move just by thinking of them. But we see that with Neuralink, it's possible. To think that this is impossible is not to think at all, because it is.
You might have to get yourself a Neuralink to understand,
Yeah.
to think.
Yeah. So this is definitely, so that's a legitimate fear. So I think with on the one hand, it will definitely facilitate a lot of things, these technologies, and these technological developments. But on the other hand, you will have a privacy, let's say, more of a privacy issue and more of a human rights law issue. How far can they go to control you, to make you do something you don't want to do, or to influence you into doing something? What if they have a chip that can, but now
This is left side.
this is
Okay?
left
This is
side.
like left field.
This is left.
Outside of the outfield. This is outside of the stadium.
But let's talk about it. Just what if they develop a chip, let's say Neuralink itself, or it can be some other kind of chip, that will monitor parts of your brain, and based on your brain activities perform a certain task. For example,
Minority Report
exactly,
can tell you're becoming aggressive.
it can tell you you're becoming aggressive, and they will intervene beforehand. Let's say what they can do to a person that has done, so you can use it for good. For example, a person that has done wrong towards minors, you can install it so that the person can never get any more feeling
Urges.
urges, which you might say it's a good thing, you can protect. But what if, for example, in a phase where, in a time where, for example, we had Uncle Vit, right? What if the Neuralink or some kind of chip could sense that there is a mass collective, that high level of rage going on, and they might think, oh, they might be, and they will see that the rage always comes right after the announcements are made to stay at home, and that they can play in, that they can intervene before something happens. Also a possibility. Again, left field, out of field. This is out of the stadium.
You can also look at it at a different point. What if you can use that to give certain people super strength, super disadvantaging others,
Yeah, super soldiers.
super soldiers? Oh, that's Dolph Lundgren, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
That was actually yo. This is well basically all the 90s
Movies.
all the 90s movies are becoming reality. You have Dolph. What's the guy from Belgium again? The karate guy. Jean-Claude.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That Universal Soldier.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
No, I don't think so.
That
I never liked Jean-Claude Van Damme. I have to.
Never.
Never.
You have bad taste in movies, man. I know that.
Well, I wouldn't say I never like. I haven't seen his movies. I've seen some movies when I was very little, but I grew up on Jackie Chan. So and Bruce what no, not Bruce Lee. Jet Li.
You're not that old.
I'm not that old.
Bruce Lee. No, I grew up on Jean-Claude Van Damme, man. That guy when I was little, he was that dude, man. He was that dude.
Yeah, but likewise, I haven't. So Stallone and Schwarzenegger, I haven't watched. I've watched their movies, but let's say the way I grew up more on Jackie Chan, Jet Li than I did on the others. But I'm sure the movies are good. I mean, it's always, the. In my opinion, they're making too little of these type of movies. Just action from start to finish. So, but yeah, KR, did you have any more questions or?
No, I think we can wrap this up. I mean, this is a very interesting topic, guys. Let us know in the chat and in the comments. I mean, this is maybe we can learn more from each other. Do you want us to do another show about these topics in specific sectors? How that will develop, looking at from the law perspective and the business perspective? Let us know in the comments. RJ, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'm gonna give a quick recap, guys, of today's show. In today's show, we talked about AI and robotic, and what the future is for mankind. But we didn't start with a doom scenario at all. We started just by showing, looking at some videos of what exists now, both in the area of AI and the area of robots. And we've also seen that those two go hand in hand. We saw some examples of how AI is being used at this particular point in time. We talked about ChatGPT and Dolly and other softwares that are, or programs that are very popular nowadays, that can basically not only replace, so do tasks that intellectual tasks that humans can do, but they can do it in a far faster pace than any human could. We're talking about writing a paper within minutes, while it would take us hours to write the first draft. We talked about graphic design. There are softwares that can just design graphics without. So let's say design graphics in minutes. You can design logos in minutes without even needing the assistance of a human being. But if you ask a human being to do it, it will take far more time. We saw with regards to robots as well, how they're using it. They're introducing it in fast food restaurants. We have machines that can flip burgers and what do you do with fries? Heat up fries.
Fry them up.
You can fry. Yeah. I was thinking of fry them up. You can fry the fries without humans. So you do see that you have one or two people walking around, but those people are oftentimes there just to monitor the robots to see if they're acting right, to see whether to engage with the customers. But you wouldn't need so many people in a restaurant if you replace them with robots. We also talked about, we also saw how they are experimenting with robots that can do more and more complex surgeries. They're already using robots for surgeries, but we can expect that in the future there will be more and more robots to conduct surgeries. And we also saw a short video of Neuralink, the company owned or co-owned or co-founded by Elon Musk. You might have heard of him. That basically work with a chip that you would put in your head, and that would enable you to move certain things in the physical world just by thinking about it. We saw how they conditioned a monkey to do so, right? So macaque to be more specific, was received a chip in his brain or in his head, which allowed him to play a game. They called it Monkey Pong on a computer, just and he could move the paddles on the screen just by thinking about him. So definitely the future is here. I think that's safe to say that the future is here.
Definitely.
And finally, KR and I talked about the
Ki.
AI, KI, yeah. Because I have some plans, KR,
Okay.
to
You gotta
replace
start
you with a.
working on a replacement. As long as I keep my chair, I'm okay.
Hey, it's UBI for you and I. We'll
Yeah.
put, we'll put
Hey,
some
hey, I'm gonna write that one down. UBI for you and I.
we'll put some AI and robots here to do our jobs while we collect the check. Let's hope they don't become sentient and realize that they're getting scammed out here. But yeah, so we talked about the financial consequences, the legal consequences, what they might be. Of course, everything is speculation because we don't know how everything will develop itself. But both KR and I agree that there's a positive side to it because these technologies can definitely assist us in our day-to-day lives. It could, for example, help people that have lost arms or legs to regain it and to function, to make it feel as closely as a natural arm or leg as possible. It can allow people that can't walk to walk again. So there are a lot of things, great things that can happen with it. But of course, like with everything, you also have the darker side. You also have the more negative side. And we can definitely expect more privacy concerns and human right infringement concerns in the up and coming years. And the problem is, the problem is that the development of laws happens way slower than the development of technology. So technology is moving way faster than lawmaking, and lawmaking can't. So laws can't keep up with the development of technology. The only way, KR, I believe that we can we humans have stand a chance is by creating a AI that can help you keep up.
Would that be something? Wouldn't that be something? That
You need
you might have a point there.
yeah, because
Good part to add in the conclusion because that's the only only way you can actually make it make the law sector or the work as fast as technology.
yeah,
Because at a certain point they won't be able to keep up anymore with the
definitely,
developments.
definitely not. No. So yeah, with that being said, I think that's a high note where I can end the recap. Did you want to add something, or did I cover everything?
I will have to say it was all
Perfect. Awesome.
awesome, mate. So I think doom 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 doom.
Thank you, guys. Thanks to everyone that have watched this pre-recorded live show, and especially those that have engaged with us as well in the comment section in the chat.
Yep.
We also like to thank, of course, everyone who's watching the rebroadcast. Remember, guys, we truly appreciate. We say it every show again, but it's completely true. This is a very interesting this is a very great experience for us. It's great for us to produce the shows for you. It takes a lot of time. We both KaiR and myself have our own day jobs, but we put a lot of work in it. So every time we see your engagement, your support, it truly means a lot to us. We know that we have plans to grow, and we know that we can't grow without you. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel, make the commitment, and let's grow together. If you subscribe now and engage now, you would have a great influence in how our shows will develop in the future. Because when we're big, when we have 1 million, 2 million subscribers or more, it would be difficult to hear every single voice. But now, guys, you have the chance to talk. We do and definitely we watch we can still watch all the comments, and so that will
Respond to them as well.
so that would definitely help. Remember to rate the show as well by pressing the like button, and follow us on all our social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Double Touch Show, on Facebook and Instagram. One more time, guys, subscribe to the YouTube, and remember to share the video with your friends, your family, and
the enemy. Distract them. And guys, one thing, what we always say at Double Touch Show,
But I can only show you the door.
we can only show you the door in this case as well.
definitely. Let's have a healthy conversation in the comment section below, guys. With that being said, we'll see each other in the next show. Take care. Peace.
Peace.